Welcome back. In this short video we're going to talk about a depth of knowledge partner activity so I can give you a little context about that activity. In this activity I'll ask you to choose a topic or objective that's pertinent to your class and your students and define the evidence that students would need to demonstrate to show where along the continuum their depth of knowledge exists. Okay, so first page has detailed directions. Let's take a look down at the second page. Second page is simply a model I've given you for the activity using, again, Bloom. So you're going to use DOK. It has nothing to do with Bloom, but this is just an example I could give you that wouldn't prejudice your own results. So you can see that what I've done here is I've done a draft, and I've put in indicators for the different levels. I've put my topic at the top and simply the context in which I would be using it. This could be very short. Now, we're going to imagine that this over here, these things, are comments given by my partner. So once you create this draft, you're going to share this out with your partner or partners. Now, in most cases, we're going to share it with a single partner. We're going to use the group A partners. In one case, there are 3 of us in a group, and you have 2 choices in that case. You can either do kind of a round robin where A comments on B, B comments on C, C comments on A, or if you'd like, you can simply comment on both of your partners. It's a little extra work, and that's up to you. I'm going to leave that up to you to coordinate that aspect of it. Okay, so you're going to create this draft, share it with your partner. Your partner is going to give comments. If you're not familiar with how to give comments in Google Docs, I believe we are, but if you're not, you simply highlight the text you want to comment on, and you can click this comment button. You can right-click and choose comment, or you can use the Control, Alt, and M keys, which is the fastest way to start a comment. If you want to see, because this can be confusing, which comment applies to which bit of highlighted text, simply click on the highlighted text and it will come to the foreground. The alternative is to click on the comment itself, and the color of the formatting will change to indicate what the comment refers to. Now you can see here, if I click off, that it looks as if there's a single comment here. But when I click on this word evaluate, I can see that was a comment simply on this word discuss, whereas the larger comment, which overlaid it, deals with the entire text. Okay, so basically we're eliciting feedback from our partner. You're then going to complete a final draft. And this final draft should integrate the comments given by your partner. Now that doesn't mean you have to accept them all. It means you should give them some thought. What you feel makes the final draft better, you should incorporate that. And what you feel maybe isn't appropriate or isn't within the boundaries, context, scope of what you're doing, you should at least address that. Okay, so I've taken comments like here. My first comment, this is the topic is Bill of Rights, and when my partner looked through this, they said, your focus seems to be a little broader than just the Bill of Rights. Should you use U.S. Constitution as a topic? Well, when I came down and made my revisions, I decided that a good part of it was Bill of Rights, but my partner was correct. It really was a little broader than that, so I decided to take their advice, modify it even a little bit more, and include both as my topic. So you get the idea. Here's an example under the evaluated. This says perhaps you could evaluate the existing 10 amendments as to how they apply to modern life. Well, I thought that was a little too broad for my time frame, so I didn't incorporate that in here, but I did reference it in my reflection. So the third part of this is to do a reflection. Here are some guiding questions. We'd like you to address the meat of the changes that were made briefly, but also the overall experience. How you found this activity. Was it something that was difficult or uncomfortable because it was a collaborative activity? What benefits did you see? What drawbacks? Perhaps how you could see this or some iteration of this or some idea sparked by this, how that might be useful in your own classroom. Okay, so once again, quick review. you're going to save a copy of this document. It'll actually be created when you open it. Down on, pages are numbered down here, down on page 4, you'll see your draft. So you're going to put your topic, a brief context, and the evidence of attainment for each of the depth of knowledge levels. You are then going to share that with your partner or partners. You're going to gain the feedback. During that same period of time, you're going to provide feedback to your partners. When that period is over, we're going to integrate that information into a final product. Of course, you're welcome to copy and paste from the top. That would be the efficient way to do it, and then make your edits as necessary. When the process is over, you're going to come to this reflection section, read over the guiding questions, and think about, reflect. See, here's my reflection right here. Think about and reflect on the activity, what it meant for you. That doesn't have to be all positive or all negative. It should be a reflection of how you experienced it and the potential that you see in there. Okay, one last thing I'd like to call to mind here is in the directions you're going to see that these first two things need to be completed no later than 2:19. The next two things need to be completed no later than 2:19. Okay, number 5 needs to be completed no later than 2:23. And then, of course, the final submission would be by the due date for the activity. Now, these deadlines are extremely important because your partners are dependent on them. I have found in the past that this is a place where sometimes people struggle. They have their own work habits. Perhaps they have, certain things on the calendar and they feel like they're just going to sit down the last weekend before this is due, or the night before it's due, and they just get all sorts of adrenaline and they can do a good job by pumping it out in an hour or two immediately before the deadline. That doesn't work in a collaborative environment. In an environment where we're looking to gain feedback from others and work in a group, one of the restrictions is we don't have as much freedom as we would have if we were working individually. Okay, so please adhere to these deadlines. Scrolling to the very bottom, you're going to see that there's a student self-assessment. Note that the categories are accuracy of final submission. So are the criteria that you provide really reflective of that particular level of DOK? Quality of feedback to your partners. Okay, I'd like you to spend a little time, not just blow through it, but give your partner your thoughts. Think about it and provide them with something that they can use. Timeliness of your feedback to your partners. So you can see these feedback sections right here, 40% already of the grade. Integration of feedback into your own work. As I said, you don't have to accept everything, but you have to give it some thought and have a good rationale for what to accept, what to modify, and what to not include. Okay, the last section here is 20 points for the reflection. And key word here is a thoughtful reflection. Take 15 or 20 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, whatever it is. Really think about it and give me your thoughts. This is a process we want to encourage with our students. We want them to be more invested or have more ownership for their work, and in order to do that, they really need to think not only about what the requirements are and what you want, but what their experience with the process included. Okay, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to the completed projects.